Hey everybody, welcome to day 3 of How to Make Money with Email. Um, I'm feeling a little bit better this morning, so maybe I'll have more energy for this. I apologize for the last couple of sessions where I've been just a little bit under the weather. Um, but I'm excited to get into the good stuff today. Been holding out on you, I got to tell you, today. Just get ready, buckle up. I'm going to share some tricks and some ideas that maybe will make your life a little bit easier. Let's go through real quick though. How did it go? I need updates. Somebody out there did something. I want to hear about it. What'd you get done? As big or small as you are comfortable sharing. Let's celebrate. Who wants to go first? Not everybody at once. Let's dive into this slowly. Anybody get a quick start guide launched? How about that? Anybody turn on a form out there? Anybody actually write the thing? That's also a good step. Um, I'm looking at you. Yes. All right. Nobody wants to share today. Okay, that means we've got a little bit of a summer slowdown. We need to pick it up. Let's do it. Come on. Okay, there we go. Somebody got the save this, in your case, save this recipe, right? Set up. Um, how are you doing it? Did you custom code it yourself? Are you a PHP whiz? How are you doing it? How about okay, good. I might as well talk about that because I'm a fan of what NerdPress is doing with Hubbub, so I will at least might as well mention it, right? I put this into the Facebook group as well. So Andrew at NerdPress contacted me a few months back. In fact, we sat down at Tastemaker and when was that, March, and talked through it. Um, and he has a what is it? A WordPress plugin that does a whole bunch of things. And he told me that he was going to be including save this recipe, save this article as part of this, or as part of Hubbub. So if I share my screen here, look, I'm not an affiliate, and I know that Slickstream is coming out with their own version. I haven't seen that yet, so I don't really know. So I can't comment on that. But what I do know is that I've been setting this up. I've been charging $500 to set this up over the last 2 years. So you're getting a pretty screaming deal here if you haven't done it yet and you have MailChimp, MailerLite, Flowdesk, or ConvertKit. I think it's $129 a year. So you get all these other features, whatever comes with Hubbub Pro. I can't even comment on those, but it does have this, it has it set up for you. Again, I'm not an affiliate, but I did play with it early on. I have several clients that are using it, and I'm a fan. I think they've got room to improve it too. And but if you're not using this tool and you need a tool, you can, of course, wait to see what Slickstream comes up or what Raptive comes up with Slickstream. But Janji's saying it, they have it. Okay. All right. We need to ask them for it. So maybe step one is go ask Raptive to install the save this recipe, this tool. I really don't know how in depth what they've built. What I would, I'll just tell you the way I'm thinking about this. If I had them side by side, I'd be seeing what has the functionality and the customization that I want. Um, I I really don't know how Raptive is going to do it, but I do know that this works pretty well. So if you want this up today or like yesterday, like Miss Sorensen did, you can slap that out there and get and feel confident that Andrew and his team are going to support you too going forward. I mean, NerdPress by themselves. All right, that's the good work. Are you getting subscribers? Some? Okay. Look, it's going to be a function of where you have it on your post or on your page. Um, if you have single or double opt-in enabled, um, if you where you show it, whether you have it at the top or at the bottom, those things will matter as you go through it. And connecting it also is an important step there too. Cool. Thank you for sharing. Congratulations for getting that started. And then Gina, Nice work. Got a freebie surprise done for day 5 to point to Shopify. Excellent. Okay. Love it. That was important for what you're doing. That's great. All right. Yes, today I'm going to going over segmentation a little bit. But before that, we're going to talk about what I'm sending for almost every client, the types of messages that we are sending. Let's get into it. Let me close this out. All right. So first, let's take a quick peek in the rearview mirror. And this is where we should be by now. Should have that quick start guide created. If there's something holding you back besides just life and your own setting of priorities, I want you to let me help you. Let's do this. Let's get it done. It's really important to me. Your success is contingent upon the effort that you put in here. That's duh. Thanks, Matt. But you signed up for this mastermind for a reason. Let's go. Let's make it happen. So there's my little cheerleading rah-rah today. It doesn't take that long. You just have to sit down and bang it out. And if you're stuck, that's probably because you're stuck on what to send, or you're not clear on what to write, or you're unclear on some tech piece. Whatever that may be, just let me know and I'll help you get unstuck. I'll stick around at the end of this call and talk through everybody's individual situation if you want. So if you're committed to this, let's go. All right. So we've got people coming into our list thanks to our quick start guide. Maybe we've got saved this recipe or article. Maybe we've got a PDF or a printable. We've got an ebook. Whatever it may be, people are coming into the list. What I'm going to go over today is, what do I send them? I'm going to talk about this concept called the Forever Series. I'm going to talk about what types of emails that you might send seasonally and what I've seen work. We'll talk about RSS a little bit. And if there's time, we'll dive into some segmentation stuff. Sound good? All right. This technique, this is what I'm going to tell you today, is when I got into the space, when I was a blogger, this was one of the first things that I set up. It was a no-brainer for me. And so I was actually kind of surprised when I got into this particular area of marketing called blogging and discovered that nobody is doing this. And these are the people, the bloggers, the content creators, are the ones that should do this. And that is to take your very best content and put it on autopilot. Thus the name of my course, Email on Autopilot. Now, this is James Clear. For those of you who are familiar or not familiar with James, he is the author of a book called Atomic Habits. Perhaps you have read it, or you've at least heard of it, I'm sure. I discovered James in 2017. And I started following his personal development blog and the content that he was putting out. And guess what he was talking about back then? He's been talking about habits for a long time. So it was really great. I signed up for his newsletter in July of 2017. You can see the first emails here of what he sent me. So what does it look like to me as the reader? It's all new to me. I have not consumed this content previously. I'm not familiar with it. So every one of these, it looks to me like James is just waking up Wednesday morning and banging out an email and sending it. That's what it appears to like to me, as far as I know. I went back and I did some Sherlock Holmesing to figure out, when did James originally send or publish the articles that he was sending me an email. Look at this. So these first 2 emails here are some sort of welcome thing. But then after that, his next one, the most important one, forget about sending goals, focus on this instead. That article that he points me to was originally written in 2013, 4 years previous. Then the second one is a year old. Then he dropped in something new. But then 2015, 2016, 2015. This one was 3 months old or whatever. What is this? What's going on here? What is this? Who does this guy think he is? He's trying to pawn off his old stuff on me. Well, the thing though is, who cares? Is there anything that changes in the world of habits? Not a lot. So, in fact, his book this article is the basis for his book. He's been talking about habits for a very long time. So this was well before Atomic Habits came out, but it is also well after he started blogging. Do you see where I'm going here? The latest thing that you published is quite frequently the thing that gets all of the attention. As content creators, this is natural. We just got done with this thing. We want the world to see it. We want the world to validate it. We want Google to pick it up in its search engines. So all those things are right and true, and I understand it. But the latest thing that you created is there's a statistical almost impossibility that the latest thing that you created is the greatest thing. So what does that mean? That means that somebody that's coming into your list today, if you're only sending them what's new, you have this whole back catalog of awesomeness that they have not yet enjoyed. I want you to think about this a little differently. Imagine somebody comes to your website, your blog, your channel, whatever, signs up for your newsletter, and then every week gets the best content that you've ever created. Not the latest. Each time it's bringing you back to your channel. And because it's the best, the subject matter expertise kicks in, my admiration grows, I tell all of my friends, and I buy all your stuff. You get the private yacht. This is how this happens. Okay? I call this the Forever Series. It's just a fancy name for a nurture sequence. I didn't invent the concept of a nurture sequence. I came up with the idea of calling it a Forever Series because it's an automated sequence that could actually go on forever if you keep adding to it. Notice how this is different from a welcome sequence or a welcome series. So many people in the space do great welcome series, but those stop after 3 emails or whatever. What we're doing with a Forever Series is we're anticipating, because we're the subject matter expert, we're anticipating our readers' questions before they ever think to ask them. So what we do is we just put in order our best stuff. And then we decide how frequently should people get it. I recommend weekly. And then when something new comes in that's cornerstone, that's earth-breaking, that is also evergreen, you just drop it into the right spot. So if you come up with something new blockbuster article, you can put it at the end of the Forever Series. You can put it at the beginning. You can drop it in the middle. If something needs to be moved around, you can do that. We're not a sequence or a series or an automation. That's what these are called, by the way, in your platform. Flowdesk calls it an automation. I think MailChimp does too. ConvertKit calls it a sequence, and I can't for the life of me remember what MailerLite calls it, but these are not set in stone. They're not set in concrete. We can move things around, or we can get rid of stuff. If this one's not performing, we just pull it out. But the idea is that we put them in, we lock it, and boom, it serves you for a very long time. The idea here is that you're the one that understands your reader best. You should be able to anticipate what their questions are going to be, and therefore answer those with your best answers. In the process, you're leading them where they need to go next. This graphic here, my business is actually called Personalized Paths LLC. When I launched the business, I liked that name because we can create journeys, a personal path for our subscribers. The problem is that personalized path, it takes forever to type out and it's really hard to say. So I went to Email Crush because that was much easier. But you see the spirit where I came from here. This is also going to save you a bunch of time because you're going to write this stuff and you're going to put it in the right order, and then the automation is going to do the work for you forever and ever and ever. Now, how many emails should be in a Forever Series? Well, I call it a Forever Series because it could go on forever. I suggest you start with 5 emails, 5 weeks, and then build another 5, and then build another 5, and keep adding to it. Here's how that logic works. Let's say somebody has subscribed to your list, is enjoying your content, your evergreen content, and then after week 10, they don't get any more. Will that person magically remember on week 11 to come back to your website? Probably not. However, if they've been engaged up to this point, if you send on week 11, will they come? There's a good chance. That logic applies for week 10 and 11 in the same way it does for week 20 and 21 and week 100 and 101. You see where I'm going here? So let's build the Forever series. Before I go too far into that, let me tell you about the Picture the Magic Forever series. I've mentioned the Disney cruise example. Remember? The Quick Start Guide is what to expect on your first Disney cruise. Well, once they complete the Quick Start Guide, now what? Well, it's not the end of my infinite knowledge about Disney cruise, and I want that wisdom to be shared. So on week number 1, the very first Sunday, they get an email from me that is the most important Disney cruise tip I ever learned. It's legit my best piece of content. And the reason that I share that up front is because it's like we're still dating. You know, the same reason you put on your best pair of jeans for your first date. I'm trying to make a good impression here. So with that idea, week number 2 is a little bit different. It's the packing list, because everybody needs to know what to pack. Whether they ask me or not, they eventually get to that point. Week number 3 is how to avoid getting seasick. Week number 4 is what happens on Disney's private island. Week number 5 is what happens on Pirate Night. You see this? I've identified the important pieces of content, whether they think of it or not, and I'm dripping it to them 1 email per week. So let's do this. I'm going to pull up some examples here in just a second. But what are your first 5 Forever series? Excuse me. I want you to make a list. Let's do this. A little homework assignment. How would I use this with cooking? All right. What are your greatest hits? What are you known for? What are your most popular recipes? Should this be your top posts again? Or should it be what you think are your best? I love that distinction. They're on the list. They're sitting in front of you. They don't need whatever Lord Google has blessed you with. They need whatever is awesome and will help them. It may be that in my case, let's say I don't rank for that packing list. Who cares? They still need it. And I know it will help them. And because I've got their attention, that's email number 2 in the series. That's a great question. This, by the way, this is why I'm talking about personalized paths. You get to create the journey regardless of where they came from or how. They're here now. We know that they're interested in slow cooker. We know that they're interested in travel. We know that they're interested in salsa. Whatever it is, what can we then offer? Okay. I want you to do this. I want you to write your first 5, the subjects of the topics of your first 5 Forever series emails. Go ahead and drop them here in the chat. I'd love to see how you're thinking about this. Lisa asks, what if you have a lot of seasonal food content? Nope. We're going to skip seasonality here. Okay. We're going to save that for a seasonal broadcast that we're going to send here in a little bit. And I'll show you that. Definitely the time to send emails about Thanksgiving turkey is in fact in November. But there's plenty of things that you have. Yeah, Gina, if you don't have any none, I would challenge you on this. My guess is that you have evergreen content. If not forever, you have 5. You have the best of intentional hospitality. You have the most popular, or you have the start here, that kind of stuff.
Would you use your analytics
for
this?
Sure, maybe, but I would actually, I mean, you are the creator. You get to serve. So now that you've got them, what do you want them to know? What's your best work? What are you most proud of? If you had to give a TED talk and stand up and say, here's the greatest, the content that I have, or the advice that I have for you, it is this, and this, what would that be?
Okay.
Let me show
I'll
you some
have to think
examples. Maybe
about
this will
that.
help. Yeah, I know it's a little bit of a mental shift. Let me show you some examples. Maybe this will help.
Well, and I've written for SEO for so many years that I'm shifting like, what's my reader want, not Google.
Right, right. That goes back to my packing list example. If I counted on, I'm not going to outrank the Mouse List or, Tom Bricker or one of those guys. But my packing list is comprehensive, it's simple to use, and it's helped me a lot. So maybe it'll help them. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so here's some examples, maybe. Here's one. What's in your garden toolbox? This is evergreen, even though gardening is very seasonal. This can still be evergreen. I must have hand tools. All right, so there's that. There's one. I like this one. Start here. This is for my food folks. I use this one pretty regularly. I've been creating recipes at I Am Baker for a long time. I have lots of them. Here's my most popular recipes. People love that social proof stuff again. Now, you can, popular can mean whatever you want it to mean. That's up to you on how you want it to do reviews, views, when you talk to people, when people actually make it, I don't know, whatever. Let me show you another version of that I kind of like. This is a make these first concept. There's lots of recipes. So today I'm giving you the top recipes that are all-time reader favorites and mine too. I'm sharing one from each category: breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. So as you can see, sometimes we do a single article, sometimes we can do a roundup, sometimes it's totally on one theme, sometimes it's let me guide you. What's some other examples? Okay, for those of you in food, you've probably heard of Sally's Baking Addiction. Sally uses her Forever series to share all sorts of stuff, including a gift ideas affiliate play. Are you doing something like this with your Forever series? She has another one. I don't think I have it here, but she has tools I can't, kitchen tools I can't live without, kind of like that Growfully thing. Here's a very simple example: tacos. Again, for my food folks. Tacos are evergreen. People love tacos all year round. So here's my favorite healthy dinner. It's these tacos, and you can serve it with these things. And here's some other suggestions. I think that just one more food one here. Love chocolate? I do. Well, here's this chocolate cake, and I have these other desserts as well. Go ahead, eat that muffin. Muffins are year-round. Low-carb muffins from a keto blogger. Let me look at what you have. I have a Forever series, but I wasn't thinking about the order. This is, yeah, drop them in randomly. Yep, this allow you to start thinking about it differently for sure. I have a quick start guide on picking paint colors for your home. It's been there for years. It hasn't done well. I'm thinking it would work better in the Forever series. Another idea for the quick start. Good, Linda. I mean, not good that that's happened, but good that you're I want to highlight that for just a second. These tools have different purposes. The quick start guide is to get them on the list. That's it. Get them on the list and serve them with awesome content. Now they're on the list. Now you have a little bit more liberty of saying, okay, let me steer you here, let me steer you there. This is who I am and what makes me different than everybody else. All right, good. Most shared recipe on the web. Okay, Janji, I like that. I like that a lot. Social proof is if you are stuck, anybody, on what to do, fall back on social proof. Most popular, my favorite, this went viral, most pinned. If you're ever stuck, those themes, and those themes can work site-wide, they can do it for a category. See, you can see back to Sylvia with her tacos. She could have my most popular tacos, but then she could also do my most popular pizzas. You kind of rinse and repeat here with the themes. The other, Giangi also talked about best childhood fun memories, food memories. Okay, easy and quick start in Italian cooking, easiest French recipe that will mesmerize your friends. Think about outcomes. Outcomes. What's the outcome? fast, on a budget, impress your friends. Those are great evergreen topics. Senya's got fun, nostalgic stuff. Mom, grandma, grandpa. The recipe made me love tofu. A couple of tricks there too. Yeah, a subject line that's worked really well for me over the years is I stole this from grandma, or some variation of that. It's kind of fun. Three tips for baking with chocolate. Excellent. How this tool can improve your bakes. Nice. Okay, Emily, on Thursday, tomorrow, we're going to get into affiliate. The spoiler alert here is what you're thinking about here, or what we just saw Sally doing. A Forever series is a great way to introduce an affiliate opportunity. Example, I had Disney Cruise trip insurance, where for a while there it was covering the cost of my list, because I put it in the Forever series as email 15. Which, if you think about it, if that was the very first email I sent somebody, or they were new when they got that, that would feel very salesy, right? Oh, do you need trip insurance? Well, let me tell you why you do. But instead, because I've built up this trust by week 15, when I say, do you need trip insurance? There's a 17% chance that you will. Read more about it. And then, of course, that's an affiliate play. They're more apt to listen to me. So putting those things in at the right place and the right time make a lot of sense. Grandma's putting my kids through preschool. Thanks, Grandma. Awesome. Okay, is anybody stuck on this concept? Another thing that you can do, here's a little trick. Right now, if you've been emailing for a while on the broadcast side of things, Gina, we'll just pick on you for a second. If you've been doing that on the broadcast side of things, go back into your broadcasts, even if they were seasonal, and see which topics resonated. What got the highest opens? And then ask yourself, can I turn this into something evergreen? So the fact that they were into Christmas cookies, could I turn that same email into cookies all year round? See what I mean?
I love that idea. That's numbers that I don't have to figure, that just are right there for me. That's what I'm gonna do.
And you can copy,
thank you,
paste, and just modify a little bit. What else here? Any other questions about the Forever series? Yeah. Gianji, go for it.
I'm sending out once a week email, and it's on Sunday night, and then reminder on Wednesday for the one who didn't open. When would you recommend sending this in? Like on a Thursday? Like, I don't want to bombard them. I have a very high opening rate, very high click rate, and very low unsubscribe. My people have been with me, literally some from 14 years now. So how do I integrate that with it? What is the kind of rule of thumb so they feel like they're not getting bombarded, but they're getting information from me, then they will open?
Yeah, great question. One of the things I've tried to convince people of over time, because I've learned this and tested this, and this goes for all y'all, you can send more emails than you think. Especially, sorry to anybody who's not in food, but especially my friends in food, I don't know if you know this, but some people eat 3 or more times a day. There's a lot of gluttons out there. So especially in food, people forgive us. So let's say you get this from Sugar Free Londoner. I'm not in the mood to make muffins today. I've already taken care of breakfast. I'm traveling, blah, blah, blah. They look good. What am I going to do? I'm probably either going to hit delete, or maybe save it for later, which of course I never go back and find it again, right? But I'm not mad at you, because tomorrow when she hits me up with the pineapple coleslaw, probably not sugar-free, that's probably not keto friendly. I'm gonna be like, oh, hits me at the perfect time. I have in food clients that send daily. So if you're moving from 1 to 2 emails, my suggestion on selecting the times to send are, when does your audience engage with your content? It used to be really easy for me to figure this out in Google Analytics. I haven't taken the time to pay somebody to figure it out for me in the new Google Analytics. But there used to be a report that would very quickly tell you what days of the week are you getting traffic. In the Disney related stuff on the Disney cruise, I found that Sunday afternoons and evenings, I was getting a lot of engagement, which kind of makes sense. It's, you know, on Sundays we have a little bit more time to dream and to, you know, think about those types of things. So I was sending the Disney cruise related content on Sundays. For food, quite often it is Sunday, Saturday, Monday is your trifecta of busiest days, right? So I actually try to send emails when people are actually engaging with the content. Friday night, Friday afternoon is not a great time to send a food newsletter. That is pizza night, and there's nothing you can do about it. I have tried to change that behavior, and it just doesn't work. But magically, if you send it Saturday morning, for some reason, before they head to Costco or the grocery store, that seems to work well. That doesn't answer your question. That was very long-winded. So pick the days that make most sense when your audience is engaged.
I know this is very silly question, and you only send this one once. You do not send it to the non-openers, correct? It's just once
The
out.
Forever series, yeah.
Yeah, the Forever series, just a once. Okay, thank you. Sorry, I know it's kind of silly to ask,
No,
but
not silly.
I missed it.
No, that's a good question. Okay. Love these questions, by the way. You all are doing great. I have a welcome series right now. There's just old successful posts, but they're wordy. Do you still recommend going for the short snippets? Now, Senya, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, is my first, you know, law in life. So if it's working, leave it alone. However, if you're going in there and you're realizing nobody's actually opening or nobody's actually clicking, then yeah, it's time to rethink it.
They are. Like my welcome series is decent. It's down to 5. It has I was just looking at the analytics. It has an open a click-through rate of the open rate of almost 50%, click-through of 8.3, which is much higher than my regular list.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
welcome series is not the issue,
Right.
but I don't have a forever series in place. And I don't market my welcome series as a freebie, which I think is what you're suggesting. So that's definitely something.
Okay, let's talk about that. That's an interesting concept. So these are separate things. Let's keep these as separate tools. The concept of a quick start guide is to solve, it's a topical problem that you're solving, right? I am into slow cooking. You have the perfect slow cooker recipes. Bingo, the quick start guide does that. Now I'm associated with that. Then we have this welcome series. What does the welcome series do? Well, you have choices of who you send that to. It doesn't have to go to everybody, but you could just say, all right, after you've completed the quick start guide, I'm going to drop them into the welcome series. Do I want to do 5 emails in a row? Maybe, maybe not. There, I got another 5. So maybe I make a modified version of that. However, you also have forms on your website. And this is where I'm not trying to be a jerk on this at all. I'm just, let's think about this for just logically for a second. If the way that they, and I don't know your situation, if the way that they were signing up and getting into the welcome series was through your subscribe forms, like never miss an update, that kind of thing, or subscribe to my mailing list, those people
and save the recipe. Those
Okay.
are my 2 biggest drivers for sure.
Those people really want your stuff.
Yeah.
So the user intent there is a little bit different versus somebody who's reacting to a pop-up. So do you take the quick start guide people and drop them into the welcome series? Maybe. It might make a lot of sense to do that, just like you're doing with Save This Recipe. I almost 100% of the time drop them into the Forever series. So they complete the welcome series, boom. Or to Ali's question, if they complete the quick start guide, boom, now they're in the Forever series. That's my typical approach. I think I had that slide. Where'd it go? This first slide here.
So you're saying don't conflate quick start with welcome series.
I think they're different things. Yeah, they're different things. They serve different purposes.
Okay.
Because if they signed up for those other forms, we would have no need for the quick start guide.
So no need for the welcome form with the quick start. Just go quick start straight to forever.
This is what I usually do. However, if you've got a killer welcome series, or maybe it's 1 or 2 emails in between, so it's not a ton, that is more of the, let me show you this. You might do something like this. Amy and I did this together. It just is a replacement of a welcome series. It's like, here's who I am. Here's fun facts about me. So these are fun to read. And then there's also recipes because I want them to click on something. I want them to get the food. And she says the recipe that went viral, the most stolen recipe. So this is not a welcome series per se, but what we've done, I'm getting kind of next level here a little bit, is I've sandwiched that one, it's in a sequence, but it's one email. So the way that the rule goes is they complete this sequence. They are then added to that's the 8 facts sequence. And then they're added to the Forever series. What I want you to take away from this is that there's not a hard and fast way to do this. It's whatever you get to create the path. That's my whole point with all of this. You get to create the journey. So whatever you can think of, if you want to get, 5 emails and then 5 emails and then dailies, great. Some people do wonderful with that. So if you want just but my default position, if you do nothing else, remember, when I'm giving a mastermind like this, I don't know all of your situations. So I have to give very cookie cutter advice, right? So if you're just getting going, if you have nothing else, at least create a quick start guide and then drop them into a Forever series. That's, I guess, what I'm getting at. All right. Now, sending a seasonal newsletter. I hope all of you are doing this. There's one little piece of advice I want you to think about, though. And I'm sure that this is probably, I'm only talking to one of you. The rest of you have probably already thought about this. But whatever's new is irrelevant to your reader. With the exception of those 3 people that Jianji mentioned has been with her for 14 years. And that is a statistically very, very small part of your audience. I always kind of chuckle at this a little bit. My audience, my people love this. Who are we talking about? If you're a blogger and you've been doing this for any amount of time, your stats show that you have an 80% bounce rate. That means the people that are coming back to you on a loyal basis are a tiny fractional percent of your traffic. Now, ignore them? No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, let's not discount who we can be serving because we have a vocal minority that's in our ear because they need a restraining order on them because they love us so much, okay? So that is, wow. I promise not to be in jerk mode, and I just went into it. So my apologies there. I hope you get my point, though. So now, when you send out pineapple coleslaw because sorry, Gina, because it was the newest thing, that's great for you, but what relevance does that have for your reader? I have a client. I worked with her a long time ago. Her name is Rachel from Rachel Cooks, and she sends out every year in February. She sends 7 super snacks for the Super Bowl. Guess what recipes are in there? She's been sending it for 5 years. It's the same email, gang. It's the same recipes. And the question that nobody is asking her, hey, Rachel, when did you originally publish these sliders? And when did you originally publish this buffalo chicken dip? Who cares? Whether it was 5 minutes ago or 5 years ago, that recipe hits that, or that article or that topic hits that reader right then when they need it. So if you have been, again, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but if you have been focused your emails solely on what's new, and I know that most of you time your what's new or your refreshed recipes with the season, but sometimes here in June, we're creating Halloween content because we want it to rank. We want it to have some juice by the time Halloween comes around, right? So I have a tool that may help one of you. I'm going to drop it here into the chat. This is a broadcast calendar that might help you schedule. So all this does So when you get in here, come up to File, make a copy so that you can edit it for yourself and make your own version. This right here, let's say I'm sending every Saturday. Let's say you're not sending on Saturdays. Let's say you're sending on Sundays. All you have to do is change the first cell to be the first Sunday, and it'll update all of them going down, okay? Then you just think, what's my reader thinking about on this particular day of the year? What problem can I solve for them? And then what am I going to include in that email? In this case, since it's food, maybe I have my romantic dinner for two, lobster tail steak, candy, chocolate, whatever, okay? For some people, this helps organize their thoughts a little bit and make a little bit more of a plan. I hope this helps one of you. Some of my clients don't even write emails anymore because they have this and they just give it to their VA. They fill it out and they give it to a VA and say, and they've written a few emails and they say something along the lines of, write my other emails just like that, except for Valentine's Day with these recipes. Boom. And then it can just get done. Does the seasonal weekly newsletter come out year after year to the same people, or do they only get it 1 year? No, it's the same people, if they're still on the list. Your list will change, dynamics will change a lot over time. They won't remember. This is a good time to talk, Linda, about email math. So what's a good open rate? 30, 50% would be pretty good open rate, right? What's a good click-through rate? Well, 10% would be amazing. 3 to 5 is probably more likely. So, especially in food. I know it's different for those of you who are in different topics. So what does that mean? That means on any given email that you sent, that means that 95% of people never clicked it to begin with. And you know how you consume email. That's not a bad thing. It's just how it is. The way you consume email is in that moment, you glance at it, you're busy, does it hit you? Click, done. Or delete, done. Or more likely, many people just, they glance at it or they never even look at it. It sits in their promotions tab or whatever, and then they do a bulk delete at some other time. That's just the reality of how it is. And that's not bad. That's just reality. So the lesson I've learned, I told you the first lesson is you can send more emails than you think. The second lesson is reuse, repeat, rehash, repurpose. Save yourself a ton of time. So in Rachel's case, like I said, she's made a few tweaks over the years, but she's sending essentially the same Super Bowl email every year. What happens with my clients quite often, the ones that I'm working with, is we can bang out a year's worth of stuff, whether it's lead magnets, Forever Series. By the way, I have people that have 2 years worth of Forever Series emails set up, which they love. Since I'm on it, Jansen from Everyday Reading has been blogging, I don't know, since before my oldest son was born, it seems like. So it's been a long time. And she teaches about helping people instill a love of reading in their kids. Harry Potter comes and goes in waves of popularity, doesn't he? A new movie comes out, new show, and all of a sudden you get this new wave. Well, it's still the same series of books. And if you love it, you're going to love it now, later, then, in the future, whatever. So in Jansen's case, when she's got a Harry Potter article in email number 44, she loves that because she's not really ranking for that much anymore. She's not getting a lot of traffic on it right now. But if somebody hits them at the right time and they have a child that age, to introduce them to Harry Potter, boom, it's like dusting off this old content. And she gets this dribble of content back. So she's loving the Forever Series for those reasons. Anyway, back to the broadcasts. You could write a year's worth of broadcasts and be pretty much set for a long time if that's how you wanted to approach your email. Resends. I never resend to unopened. What's my recommendation on this? I like it. It's not a must do for me. There are some emails that absolutely. There's some emails that are money makers, whether it's selling a product or it's like end of year roundups that you just know because you're taking advantage of those fourth quarter RPMs. And if more people click on and come back, you know, you're making money. That kind of stuff. I definitely do it on those. I don't do it all the time, but I'm not against it. You'll just give it 48 hours and make sure that you give it a different subject line. Do not do that thing where it says resending. You've seen that. That's ugly, right? But change the subject line so that it won't thread with the previous version of what you sent. In fact, I encourage you to go complete opposite direction with the subject line. There was a reason that didn't grab them the first time. It could have just been, you know, coincidence, but it also maybe your subject line wasn't as awesome and you could do it better. So maybe take a different stab at it. But yeah, it doesn't work for Forever Series, but you can definitely do it for broadcasts. Is there a way to find out demographics or other such details about your subscribers? That is tough. That is really tough. So Roxana, what you're going to want to do if this is of interest to you is, well, it's the old survey, right? Create a survey, send it out, and ask. You're going to get a very small percentage of people that are going to come back. My guess is that you probably get better demographics out of Google Analytics, honestly, if you know how to pull those out of there. But certainly, it's a good idea to ask, especially if you have a product that you're trying to sell or you're trying to sell sponsorships, which we'll talk more about, to brands. You need to have those numbers anyway. Did I miss anybody's questions? Let me look. Send me notes. Even I love that. I get the same type of people. Some have opened every single email I've ever sent. They're not even my family or friends. That's great. There are those people for sure. Not discounting that at all. And that is a sign that your business is growing. So let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about deliverability and nurturing loyalty. We have learned more and more about how important it is to get people to reply to email. If you want to have a better shot of being in the inbox or at least staying out of the junk folder, get people to reply and get them to reply early. Think about that for a second. By the way, there's nothing wrong with the promo tab in Gmail. Let's just come to accept it, that it's an okay place to be. Without it, the choice is spam or inbox, and most people will probably drop us to spam, given the choice. If we're not, because that inbox is it's a pretty holy place. Banana Republic emails, grandma emails. Which of those two would you reply to? You're not replying to Banana Republic, but you darn well better reply to grandma, y'all. So Google knows that. Yahoo knows that. So a signal is a reply. A reply is an important signal if you want to increase your deliverability. How do you get replies? Ask a question. What type of question? An easy one. Many of us have done, and I have done this a lot. What's your biggest struggle with X? What's your biggest struggle with email marketing right now? Well, that's a long story. I got to sit down and tell you my life story about what's my biggest struggle, whatever. You could also do a quick poll and say, what's your favorite ride at Disneyland? What's your favorite food to make in the slow cooker? Well, I'm going to tell you about Space Mountain. I can just hit Space Mountain, hit reply and hit Space Mountain. I can hit reply and say, the jalapeno quinoa corn dogs, whatever. There's other ways to do it too. Take a poll where you just ask them to say yes or no. You can put it up top. You can put it down below. Just say real quick, I'm taking a poll. Which is your favorite, air fryer or Instant Pot? Hit reply. And you just want to get more and more replies. Another trick that I've done. Okay, so this email right here. Welcome to Culinary Spark. You did it. As the newest Sparker, you've unlocked a treasure trove of the best recipes. We have a special surprise coming your way. To make sure you don't miss it, please reply to this message and say hi. And please move this email to your main inbox. This will ensure that our emails hit your inbox. Now, I don't like, please move to the inbox. I added that here, but what I do like is this, because this is what they do. This is the simple thing. Nobody does this. How often do you do this when somebody invites you to do that? Like, I ain't falling for that, right? If you really loved them, you'd probably move it there anyway. So then, shortly after that, like either hours or maybe the next day, they get an email with this bonus, whatever the bonus is. And the surprise can be content. It can be a PDF. It can be anything that you could think of. The idea, though, is this is the key and this is the action. Just hit reply and say hi. I get a ton of hellos from that. Okay, so find ways to get replies. Do I have an opinion on adding video content to emails and sequences? I don't have any data on that, Emily, but I think video is everywhere. I think it's smart. If you're investing in video and you have video, it's easy for people to consume. If you want people to enjoy that channel. I also saw AWeber was doing this thing where their marketing folks, I haven't seen any of my clients do this, but their marketing folks were making video versions of their emails. So if you didn't want to read the email, you could just click at the very top, they had a thumbnail and you click on it and it would open up a little YouTube video of what was in the email. And I thought that was interesting. I hadn't seen anybody do that before. So I think there's ways to do stuff like that.
Like someone is reading the email to you? Like it's a personalized experience, or sorry.
Yeah, so like in AWeber's case, they're an email provider, right? And their marketing people are trying to get you to use this feature or that feature, or do this thing or the other thing. So it's basically, if you click on it, it's like Matt saying, hey, everybody, so AWeber came out with this new feature and here's what it is, and it's great. Same stuff that would be in that email. So it'd be,
Cool.
you know, for more extensive type of emails, like, or deeper content, a video up top saves me the trouble of reading because I don't read. I don't even know how. So that kind of stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I do, by the way, when I have a video and I will definitely embed it if I can. ConvertKit has it's kind of unreliable. MailChimp has it too, where you can add in the video and supposedly it will play in the reader but very seldom does that actually work. So instead, it's not terrible. What you do instead is you can just click on it and it takes you to YouTube, but worth a try. All right. Oh, wow, we're used up most of the time here. All right. Tomorrow we're going to get into pop-ups. We'll talk about segmentation. And we'll talk about the first ways of, not the first, but some more ways that you can make money with email. We're going to get into some obvious stuff and less obvious stuff. I'm going to spend, because I think it's really important that you understand it, I'm going to spend time on what Raptive is doing with Newsletter ID. And remember, I'm not a Raptive employee, although in a way they are greasing my palms here by paying for this mastermind. But I'll tell you what I honestly think about what they're doing. I'll tell you what I'm seeing in the space, and what I think the opportunities are for you. Okay, if you are stuck on anything, let me know. Unmute, and we'll talk about it. If not, your homework assignment: write the first 5 Forever Series emails. I promise you, you will not be sorry. Even if you just do 5, it's still a better experience than what you're doing right now. You have thought through the journey. Your competitors are not doing that. And then fill out that, if you don't have your broadcast schedule filled out and that tool was helpful to you, go ahead and fill that out, at least for the next 3 months. I promise you, it takes 15 minutes. It's not hard. You start thinking about, oh, what do they want? Oh, it's Father's Day this weekend. Okay, well, what have I got? I've got Father's Day recipes. Okay, perfect. Or I've got movies to watch with Dad, or whatever it is your content is. All right. Thanks for being here. We will see you
Matt.
tomorrow. If you have questions, just go ahead and unmute. But otherwise, we'll see you. Linda.
Matt, yeah, can I stay and show you those my forever series, my
Yeah.
quick start, just to get your thoughts on that? Anyone else can stay too.
Yeah.
So is there a way I can share my screen to show you?
What are you? Yes. And what are you showing me exactly here?
I'm gonna show you. I've got them pulled up each
Okay.
one, just to give you an idea of what I've got them set up as,
Yeah.
and
If
then
go ahead and see if you can do it now. While you're doing that, it seemed like somebody else had a question. Let's see if it's a quick one. Well, Emily, did you have something else, or was it Senya? Somebody? No? Okay. All right.
Okay, so the first one, so the whole series is called Ready, Set, Paint. It's a step-by-step guide to all things paint. Paint seems to be, it's my top traffic driver, according to Google, according to Pinterest. So that's kind of where I honed in on it.
Okay.
And I created this years ago, and I just looked at my stats, and it's not even 200 subscribers to this, which I feel like should have been much more than that. But basically, this first one is just kind of welcome. This is what we're going to do for the next 5 days. And then this one is, we talk about picking a paint color. Then we talk about how to choose the best paint sheen. Then we talk about
Can I
best
pause
way
you for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact that you're not getting subscribers really has nothing to do with what's inside the guide. It has everything to do with how it's being positioned.
Okay.
So let's talk about that. How does somebody find it, and what are they seeing?
Okay, so I've got it in several places. And I already, based off of your listening to you, I think this is a problem. I have it way down here at the bottom, and I feel like it needs to come up, because how many people get to the bottom?
Yeah,
It's right
especially
here.
especially on mobile. Nobody's going down there.
Yeah. And I didn't know if what it says may be part of the issue. Maybe if I could change up what's written here. What do you think on that?
First, let's talk about the real estate. The reason that it's not getting any signups is because nobody sees it. It's not because it stinks. It's because nobody sees it. So what we're going to
Okay.
talk about tomorrow with pop-ups and forums and things like that you're going to want to pay good attention to, because I think if you're getting you picked this for a reason. You must be getting traffic to paint posts. Yes.
Yes, very
Okay.
much.
So somebody's in the mode. Let's go through it like a user would. I Google something about paint or Pinterest or whatever. I land on Life on Summer Hill. There's this article about paint. I'm going through it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm about 3/4 of the way down. We already know that based off of your, if you did a hot jar or something like that, you see when people they're abandoning, they kind of got the answer, or they realize this is not right for them, exactly what they were looking for. They're gone. They're never getting down that far. Even if they love the stuff, they're never getting down that far. So if we hit them with a pop-up that's like 10 or 15 seconds later in to the content, and it's related to the content that they're seeing, you're really increasing your odds of getting a sign up. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, what problem are you solving? I don't really need a step-by-step guide to all things paint. So what problem are you going to solve for me?
I think most people that are coming to my paint posts, they're looking for a paint color to paint a room, to paint their exterior.
Okay.
And that's why part of me was thinking maybe I should shift this to forever, and let's just hone in on, here's my, well, I came up with basically an idea for that. And I made a note. Hang on a second. Let me pull up my note real quick. So I kind of shifted it and said something like, sorry, there we go. Like designer secrets to the best paint colors. Because I figure I got to thinking about it, and people are looking for a paint color to paint this weekend, and they may not have 5 days, and they may not want to know how to paint a room, because that's in that series. Like, here's my tips on painting a room. Here's the supplies I use, that kind of thing. What do y'all think?
Do you think that the room matters? Bathroom versus foyer versus bedroom versus garage?
No, I mean, Yes, it can, but I don't think the room matters.
What if it was how to pick the perfect paint color for any room?
Yes,
Is that the problem that we're solving?
yes.
Okay. So now you just create the series, however long that is, I don't even care. It's all about the hook there. That's, by the way, I hope everybody understands this. The difference here between how to pick the perfect paint color for any room versus get a guide or step-by-step guide for all things paint. That's the difference between what to expect on your first Disney cruise and sign up to get my updates about Disney cruise. One promises me a quick solution. The other is like, okay, I'm really investing in this topic, I suppose. And that just feels mentally different.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, that was easy.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yes. I love what you're doing here, by the way. This is you're tapping into, this is the trick, and this is the muscle that, like, I do this all day, every day. This is just what I do. So for me, it's sometimes more obvious. And I totally understand. Anyway, you've got all this great content. How do you share it? How do you bring it together? But really, it just comes down to which problem are we solving over and over and
Well,
over again.
and it's funny that when you said that, it was like immediately I thought, I know this works because I have a YouTube video and a post on rugs for every room of your house.
Oh,
What rugs to go with every couch color.
okay.
And I was like, couldn't believe the click-through rate on that, you know.
Right.
So yeah, so that exactly what you said is the same kind of that same concept, and it
Good.
worked.
All right. Let's make it happen. Love it. All
Thank
right.
you.
Anybody else stuck on anything or have questions? All right. Let's go make it happen. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Thanks for being here.